Hello, I'm Todd McCluskey, acupuncturist in Washington, D.C. And this video is the first of a 4-video series on needling. In these videos, I want to take you through what I look at as 4 facets of needling. Now, when you're looking at needling, it's really one thing that's happening all at once. Whether you're focused on the needling technique or the body position or what you're doing are all sorts of factors that are going on. They're all happening simultaneously. So it's a little bit artificial on one hand to break them apart, but for us to better communicate and get specific ideas across, I divided this up into 4 different components. The first one, which is this first video we're going to do, is intention. And it's going to be a little bit more of a philosophical take. What is intention and what role does intention play in needling? Then we're going to look at an actual needling technique. Then we're going to follow up with how do you utilize your second or offhand in needling. This is important. If you're needling with just one hand, it's like swinging a baseball bat with just one hand. You just want to bring in your second hand because it's going to enhance your power, it's going to enhance the potency of your acupuncture and the control as well. So that's going to be a great video. Look out for that. It's a low-hanging fruit, meaning if you can bring in your second hand in needling, it's going to be a game changer right from the get-go. And then lastly, what we're going to do is look at your entire body. How do your body mechanics play a role in needling? We'll look at it from what you might think of as like a Qigong perspective of needling. So those are the videos that are going to be coming up. This first one is a little bit more philosophical in nature, and it lays a bit of a groundwork. We're going to be talking about intention. Now, there's a million ways of talking about intention out there. You can find it all over the place, but I think it's really important that I articulate what I see and what I think is valuable in intention so that you understand better all the videos coming up. So, intention. How do I look at it? Because I'm an acupuncturist, I love to look at things in yin-yang pairs. It's really a valuable technique and tool to kind of organize your thoughts and thinking and the specific phenomenon you're recognizing in life. So I look at intention and I look at 2 parts. I look at it a yin part and a yang part. What I see across the spectrum these days is a focus of intention on what is the yin aspect of intention, which is, to me, this idea of holding an intention. So this is the kind of thought structure that might be around something like on the far end spectrum, like The Secret. Like, I'm going to hold an intention in my mind and suddenly reality is going to give me whatever I'm thinking. Or this could be the kind of intention where I'm going to hold an intention, I'm going to make a vision board, and I'm going to get these different things that I want in it, which can be valuable, it can be important. That is the yin side of intention. And that's the part where I see it gets inundated with discussions and topics and things like that, and it's really kind of cool to think about on one hand. But what I found in my acupuncture practice, that this is not enough. When I was in school, and we'd be reading about acupuncture points, and we'd be in a point function class. In the classes I took, we called it Spirit of Points class. There'd be a point, an acupuncture point, this is super common, say like Zusan Li, stomach 36. And this point, if you read it up in Deadman's, it's going to have like 7 different actions that it can do, everywhere from, harmonizing the stomach, to dealing with dampness in the spleen. You're going to get it to be able to cool, clear fire and settle the shen. It's going to activate the channel, alleviate pain, tonify qi, nourish blood and yin. I mean, the list goes on and on. It can even revive consciousness. Pretty powerful point. But then as students, we'd always ask, how do you get it to do that? How do you get that stomach 36 to activate, say, your tonify qi, nourish blood and yin? First, how do you get it to clear fire and settle the shen? Well, the most common answer that was given to me was you need to hold the intention. So somewhere in your body, in your heart, mind, when you go to needle, you have to hold that intention of, I will activate the channel and alleviate pain and needle stomach 36. What I found is, while that's important, while I want to respect that, that's not the entire story. Not at all. That's just part of it. The other part of intention, which is really important and what I want to shine my light on in this little video, is the part of an intention that's represented by the yang side. And this is intention in action. So you have your intention that's being held, but what are the steps that you're doing to make that intention real? And that part is critical. And I don't find enough of that spoken about. So while it's extremely important for all sorts of reasons to be able to hold an intention within yourself very clearly throughout the entire treatment, it's very important to do that. And we'll get back to that at the end. What you also need to do is you need to learn to take very specific steps to enact that intention. So in a very real sense, if you're needling stomach 36 and you're looking at, well, I want to tonify the qi and nourish blood and yin, well, it's not just about holding that intention in yourself. How do you actually needle a person so it tonifies qi, as opposed to, say, needling the person so it activates a channel and alleviates pain, which is also different than, say, needling stomach 36 to clear fire and settle the shen. All three of those are going to require a different approach, and it's a different physical approach. It's a different perspective you're taking, whether it's a little bit of a needle direction, needle placement, or the way you move your body, the way you engage with the qi. It all has to change for you to reliably and successfully settle someone out and clear heat, go deep and tonify the qi. Whatever it is, you need to change it up based on your intention. And that's a critical point. So in the next several videos, we're going to look at that in a very real way. We're going to look at it from the body perspective, from the needle perspective, from the manual perspective. We're going to bring all that together. But it's important to recognize that whenever you're approaching a treatment, having a clear intention is paramount. But that's not the only thing in town. You then have to figure out ways of enacting that intention. Now, what you really want to do, though, is find as many ways to enact that intention. I'm going to cover more of just the physical parts of it, meaning how do you move your body, how do you move your hand, how do you manipulate the needle to get those specifics to work. There's other things as well that are very important. I mean, how do you speak to your patient? If your patient comes in and you feel like, whoa, we need to put the brakes on, we need to settle things down, we need to drain the qi, we need to pull that qi down, how do you speak to that person so that even in your speech, you're enacting that? What conversations do you have with them? Are you going to start to crack jokes? No, you're not going to do that at all. You're going to do something to settle down. So intention isn't just in the needle. It's in the word, it's in the action, it's in how you engage with them. Even when they're on the table and you're doing, say, I do a lot of manual work in my practice. If I'm doing manual work on an acupuncture point and I want to, say, manipulate this acupuncture point to open up an Ashur knot, that's going to be a very different manual approach than if I'm going to be, even at that same acupuncture point, trying to settle their shen. I might even do one protocol. I might go over a person's back and do basically a simple kind of Tway knot overview on the back if I'm doing that to settle their shen or to prep them for maybe some stronger Ashur work. Completely different approach. I could be even using the same points. I could be using the same technique. Very different approach. Very different rhythm, very different touch with the fingertips, very different approach because that intention is clearly guiding me to do something different. And that's the key here that I want to get across, is that the important thing that we do in our treatment is what we do. It's not just what we hold in ourselves. So this is just a little bit of my kind of philosophical take, my perspective of treatment. Definitely more on that active yang side. So if this is something that appeals to you, if this is something that you work with, or if this is something that you find important, post your comments below. Start a conversation. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to find out more information further, you can contact me through my Facebook page. You can also look me up on my website, toddmccleskey.acupuncture.com. If you look on there, there's a little drop-down menu for classes. I'll be teaching an orthopedic acupuncture class in DC this fall 2019, and we're going to look at an orthopedic approach to treating low back pain. The main topic is low back pain, but we're going to be looking at the leg sinew channels and how to needle them. We're going to look at a couple different needling techniques and also ways of how to diagnose When is this more of a Xiaoyang versus Yangming versus Taiyang versus the yin channels in the leg, back pain, and what can you do to treat that? Once you understand that, you're going to understand a lot of the whole leg and how to treat knee pain better, calf pain, all that sort of stuff, as well as looking at understanding the sinew channels in a very tangible, hands-on way. This class is going to be hands-on. We're going to be working on each other. It's going to be really fantastic. If you like that, if you like some of the other videos that are coming up, also check out my main teacher, Andrew Nugent Head, on his website, ats.com, Association of Nutritional Studies. All the primary techniques that I've learned from acupuncture that really have carried me through, I've learned from him. And so he's an amazing resource, great teacher. He has a lot out there. Check him out on YouTube. He has a great teachable website as well where you can study quite a lot of his material online. So anyway, stay tuned. We got a couple of videos coming up. The next one's going to be a needle technique. We're going to look at a technique called cooling sky. It's going to be a way of draining and reducing qi out of a channel. So stay tuned for that. All right. Have a great day.